Alrighty, we're all set.
All set. Thank you. Okay. Well, welcome to the August 21st meeting of the Northborough Historic District Commission. My name is Bob Light, Chair. And just to get started, we have a disclaimer about the open meeting. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act relative to the extending certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted. The order allows the Historic District Commission to meet entirely remotely, so as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. All members of the Historic District Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. This meeting will not feature public comment. Each vote taken this evening will be conducted by roll call vote. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. State. Okay, so we have Brian Smith,
Aye.
Brian Swanson,
Here.
Millie Milton,
Here.
Leslie Harrison,
Here.
Tom Reardon,
Here.
and Amanda Millette.
Here.
And I am Bob Light. I'm here. Thank you. Looks like we have a full register. Thanks very much. Okay, so for the first agenda item is the approval of the prior minutes. These would be the minutes of July 17th, which I had sent around. Are there any corrections or comments to those minutes? Hearing none, then can I have a motion to accept the minutes of July 17th?
So moved.
Seconded?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Brian Smith,
Aye.
Brian Swanson,
Approved.
Leslie Harrison,
Aye.
Amanda Millette,
Aye.
Millie Milton,
Aye.
Tom Reardon,
Approve.
and I approve. Okay, the minutes have passed and they will be they will be put on our website. Brian, I will send it to the clerk.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll copy you this time. Thank you. Okay, for first, we have an update of our CPA projects. The first being the Howard Street National Register status update, and unfortunately, I have no new news on that. It's being worked on. The consultant that is doing that, of course, is I mean, there is some money being held back, so we expect to have that done soon. But she has not given me an update on that, so we'll pass that over till next meeting. The Warp Cemetery sign, Leslie and I had some go-rounds with is Andy Clark, I believe.
Yes.
And just to confirm, I believe he was going to turn the signs around and see
He
if
said
they-
he had new ones, so I'm very confused.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I thought he said he had some new ones. And Andy mentioned rotating them, so I'm totally confused.
Well, he mentioned rotating them first, and I thought that was what we were going to do. Now, if he already has the new sign, then it doesn't make any sense to rotate them.
Yeah, I thought let me keep going and I'll try to find this old email.
Okay, I know I sent a clarification email to find out because
Yeah,
there
and
was
then
some
we
confusion.
usually don't get responses, let's see. Warp Cemetery sign. So the last thing he said was, I do have them out for production. But we got hit with several large no-miss jobs, blah, 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 a perfect storm. So I am committed to replacing them. I am also planning on flipping them as the warping is being caused by differential heating due to exposure.
Okay, that's where I got confused. I didn't think he's had them out for production. I thought he was considering flipping them and then ordering new signs.
Yeah, if I read it
Okay.
literally, he said they were already out for production.
Well, I'm happy with either. Obviously, if he's already got new signs, we might as well
Yeah,
put the
I
new
was
signs.
very confused also.
Okay, then let's pass that on. Leslie, if you don't mind, maybe before the next meeting, just we'll get another clarification.
I would rather ram a sharp stick in my eye, but I will do it.
Well,
We've been
anyway,
going around about this for how long? How many back and forth? But I will
yeah, no,
respond.
if he's gonna turn the signs around and let them unwarp, that's fine with me. But
Yeah,
let's just find out what he's doing,
okay.
because I would like to take this off the agenda.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And speaking of taking things off the agenda, the Aqueduct sign has been received. I think it was on the August 8th. I received it and it's already been put up. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to look at it.
Yep.
But it's really nice. Really looks nice and shiny too. Let me can you see that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
It's nice. So I'd like to hopefully it'll stay as clean as it is, but I don't think so because it looks a lot nicer than the old one. But and I looked and it looked like that it was attached pretty tightly. So I think it's going to be a real job to take this one, to steal this one, but we'll see. And I would be asking for volunteers to sit by the sign and keep an eye on it.
We could take tolls too. We could charge people to look at the sign. While we're there, we may as well make a good use
That's
of it.
true. So anyway, that's good and it is now taken off the agenda. The next item is this is not a CPA project, but it is the Lyman Street Farm community sign and the Native American sign that's going to go off of Lyman Street by the airplane field. Again, I have not heard any updates on that. It's really out of our control right now, but I hope to have that done within a few months. Any other old business that I might have missed? Okay. Moving on to committee representatives update. First one would be the CPC. Leslie?
Nothing. This is the inactive season, so there's nothing right now.
Okay. Yeah, August is a tough month. We missed our meeting in June, so that's why we had this August meeting, but it should be quick. Master plan implementation. Millie.
That's me. Yeah, so we actually had a meeting. We didn't have one in July. We had one and last week. And got some updates on downtown beautification, some plantings that are being done. And there is I'm not sure if people are familiar with the major project that's being put forth on the Blake Street area. Some of the things that the town planner has been interested in approaching some things there to really get the ball rolling on starting something in that area.
What specifically?
I think they're looking at sort of redesigning the parking area, the town, the way the town goes through there. Working with some of the businesses in the area to try to really, I would say, maximize it and make it more efficient and nicer, and repaving and pulling together some of the sidewalk look. But I think it could look really nice once we get things going.
It could be a really nice area, I think.
Yeah,
That'd be a good
yeah.
start. There
And
are
I think it would be a great start.
there are
Yeah.
several historic buildings along there too, so we have to keep in mind
Yep.
that in case anything were to happen to the buildings.
Yeah, they were even talking about maybe using the repurposing the fire station for like a brew pub or some some business to in there as well, right? Millie, is that?
Yeah, that's a little bit out of, I think that's off the scope of this project. This is really just Blake Street, but it really is
Yeah.
trying to define some of the sidewalk areas and really, I would say, bring some detail to it, define some areas and really, I think, enhance it. That's pretty much it for the Blake Street. We don't have anything final yet on what they're going to do.
There's a video, just to interrupt, there's a video of that, because I remember one of the cool things that Tim had done for the town was he had videos, like the town corner with videos of various things. So I know that, because Laurie had come to the CPC to present, and I know, I'm pretty sure the video was up on the town website. Well,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, I'll see if
I
can find it.
don't know. I think that was some of her on her wish list of things. I don't know at this point what the where the process is and what's been determined.
Okay.
To as a
you.
start. Yeah. Because I think it was going to depend on what the funding was, how they're going to phase it.
Yeah, money.
Yeah.
What does dam removal mean after that?
Oh,
I'm glad you
that's a
brought
fun
that up.
one.
I added that. There's some issues that I heard that there was discussions about dam removal, and of course these dams are relatively historic, so we just wanted to get an update on that. Do you know anything more about
Well,
that?
and I think that's a good question because what really makes them historic? They qualify. We have like 8 or 9 dams in the area in Northborough. And actually one of them did get removed back in 2023, I think. I don't know if you guys if anybody knew anything about that one. It's kind of interesting. That was one from 1880s. So I don't believe anybody was involved in that.
Oh, no, I don't remember.
Yeah. So they clearly didn't notify anybody from the Historic Commission. And I don't know if that's something they normally have to do because I'm not that familiar with the process of how things go with that. At this point, we have the best I could figure out, we have two dams that are in the red, which is significant or hazardous. Those are both in the Cold Harbor Brook and the Hot Brook, and they were built in 1963, and they're owned by DCR. So I don't even know if there's anything that can be done if they're owned by the state as far as historically significant concern.
I think I'm not that familiar with it, but there are some environmental reasons why the dam should be taken down.
Hmm.
Right. And then the issue becomes maybe there's nothing we can do to prevent them being taken down, but at least maybe we could consider documenting it in somehow, taking pictures, make sure that we archive the pictures of where the dam
Okay.
was. So it would be good to have a heads up ahead of that.
Yeah,
one-
I
the
mean,
one-
sorry.
I'm sorry. Well, the dam that you mentioned was taken down. I'm trying to remember the name of the creek, but it's like on the south side of town, I believe, by that farm.
This is actually the one that we talked about is the Northborough Reservoir Dam.
Oh,
That's actually on the other side. That's on the
Yeah,
Boylston
but
Northborough
that's
line.
actually in Shrewsbury.
It's really not, yeah, was owned by us, but it was
That's still up though.
Yeah.
well they have funding for taking it down.
Okay, right. Yeah, no, I heard that. And
Yeah.
it's a
And there's no data on it anymore. So clearly they're not worried about doing it anytime soon because I think they've had the funding since 2021.
Okay. Well, anyway, I would suggest that just try to give us a heads up. I'm not sure there's much we can do, but make sure that we have proper documentation of what's being taken down.
Yeah, because that's actually the one that was built in 1880. So if it hasn't been taken down, there's something we could maybe.
The bylaws in terms of demolition delay talk about historic buildings.
I know
So,
that was my next question. So it's only buildings. So,
yeah, so there's nothing that we can do by by the bylaws.
right.
And not, again, not, there might be valid reasons to take it down. I just want to make sure that we have some sort of historical record of it. Now,
Hmm,
it may already exist, and that's maybe we can contact the Historical Society about that. They may have records.
interesting. Okay. But that's about all I have at this point. I mean, we've got some other dams that I don't think are on the list of being uh evaluated for hazard, but it really is in the hands of the Conservation Commission and ORS, the um you know, ecologically to do things in an ecologically sound manner.
The Conservation Commission, is that state or town?
Well, I believe the town is the one that has to reach out to either the dam's owners. Nothing can be done unless they are, well, that actually is, so these two are the DCR, the two that are in red. So I
Mhm.
guess that would be state.
So I just learned recently that a lot of the dams were put in specifically to destroy Native Americans' crops.
Hmm.
Well, they're more to power the timber and textile production along the Alphabet. I don't know about flooding Native American land. They were mostly gone by the time Northborough was founded.
Maybe it wasn't Northborough specifically, but in general, I'd heard that that a lot of dams were put in for
Yeah,
that express
right.
purpose.
I think
Hmm.
it's obviously before electricity, they needed something to power their equipment. Okay, good. Thank you. One of the things to consider, it's one of the, like what happened with the Lyman Street signs that in consideration for tearing down a building in Northborough, the state offered to give us a historic sign. If it could be a possibility if there was a state agency that was funding the removal of the dams in consideration, maybe they could put up a historic marker.
Hmm.
So it's just a thought.
Hmm.
Okay, anything else, Millie?
I think that's it. It's, I guess that's working on the NH, one of our master plan tags, but it's really more under conservation, not historic at this point.
Okay, next is the Northborough Revolution 250. That's the committee that Brian Smith and I are on. There's been a lot of activity there. We had a meeting back on the 27th of September, and we finalized no, I'm sorry, it wasn't December, it was the July 24th. And we now have a logo. We're going to be ordering a banner, and several video scripts have been written, drafted. We roughly, I think, 4 or 5 things like the Northborough Tea Party, the visit to the various soldier graves in Northborough, and the muster field for the Minutemen.
Nice.
And
Who's doing the
then,
videos?
Pardon?
Who's doing the videos?
Oh, the cable access people.
No.
We're also on the committee, so it works out well. And we're drafting the script, and now the question is we might have to get actors or people to dress up and do the videos. So we haven't started that yet, but the scripts are done. Now the big news was that the state, actually the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism, is issuing a grant under their Massachusetts 250 program for nonprofits and also municipal governments to submit grant requests to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the revolution. And it's basically to increase tourism and business opportunities for the local businesses. So we met with it was actually Norm Corbin, who's on the committee representing the Historical Society, and I met with Lori Connors. And the bid has to come from either a town or a nonprofit. And in this case, one of the issues is that we have to spend the money and get reimbursed. So obviously,
Oh.
we don't have a budget to do that, $1,000. So we the town has agreed to submit the bid. Well, we're going to submit the bid under the town's name, and it's going to be under the Historic District Commission. But we're also going to explain that the program is going to be run by the Revolution 250 Committee, and that includes the Cultural Council, Community Affairs, Historical Society, and American Legion, and others. And it worked out well that the town agreed that whatever the budget is, and we expect the budget's going to be around a $20,000 to $30,000 grant. We still haven't worked out the budget yet, but as we spend allowable expenses, the town will pay for that, and then they'll be reimbursed by the state.
Right.
So we're working on the proposal right now. It's due Monday. So I've been quite busy doing that. And we have a good story to tell, because essentially we're proposing a program that's going to center around the Minuteman celebration, and in honor about April of 2025, which would be a 250th anniversary of when our Minutemen marched to Concord. And it'll probably be a parade, a reenactment, and then some sort of a festival on the town common. So that's basically what we're planning for that day. In addition, we're going to ask for funds for us to travel to Charlestown to do the Bunker Hill Parade, which would be in June of next year. And then we're also going to be asking for funding to help cover the costs of the videos that we're doing, and any advertising that goes along with the festivities. So that's our plan. It's a good story, but the hard sell is going to be to convince the state that this is going to increase tourism to Northborough, because tourism is defined as people traveling over 50 miles. But as I see it, if we can get enough advertising about Northborough and its role in the revolution, then visitors that go to Lexington and Concord, who knows, maybe they'll go to Northborough. And of course, we've got a tie-in from a lot of the local businesses in town to say that this is going to help their businesses. Obviously, when you have a big festival like that, it will bring in some tourist dollars, or at least visitor dollars. So that's where we stand.
So do you have to
We'll-
convince the state that there's increased tourism for that day, or that it will have a
Well,
enduring
that
effect?
plus the videos that we're going to do, and it's basically we're going to try to sell the idea that people are going to want to come and see where the Minutemen mustered, and they're going to want to tour the houses, and they're want to tour the cemeteries, things like that. So even though it's going to be one day of the celebration, it's also going to hopefully have enough write-ups and advertisements related to that day that people would want to visit.
Nice.
And one of the things, the key thing about the bid that we're doing is we're going to be getting revolutionary attire, roughly for 10 to 20 Minutemen or other types of attire. And if we get the state to pay for those uniforms, then we'll have those for future reenactments, because we expect a lot of activity in this. By the way, this grant the money has to be spent before June 30th of 2025. It only covers FY 25. There may or may not be a grant for FY 26. And if there is, we will have the uniforms in hand and we'll be able to do it. But even if there isn't, we are planning activity in 2026, such as the Knox Trail reenactment, the Declaration of Independence, obviously, the Northborough Declaration of Independence, which actually happened a month before the real Declaration of Independence. So there's a lot of activity we can do in 2026, and those uniforms will come in handy. So I'll keep you posted. The bid's going to go in by Monday, and the state was late on submitting this request for a grant proposal. And they're hoping, because we're already in the fiscal year now, they're hoping to make the awards by September. Now, for the government, that's a pretty quick turnaround time. But we're hoping once they issue the grants, then we'll be able to start spending money. Okay. That's all I have on that. The next agenda item is the Fire Station Building Committee.
So the committee has approved the construction drawings at the 50% phase. They have approved the design of the geothermal system. They're trying to get funding to design the underslab drainage system because we have a high water table at the site. And next week we have a meeting to review for the 75% completion of the construction drawings. And the plan is to complete the construction drawings prior to the town meeting, special town meeting of October 7th, at which time they're considering filing for a building permit prior to January 1st, 2025, because the building code changes from the 9th to the 10th edition. And it could cause additional cost to do a code review as well as change the design if there are any significant changes to the building code. So to vote for the debt exclusion would be on November 5th, the day of the national election. If all goes well, they will go out to bid after that vote. They are currently involved in doing the pre-qualifications for bidders, which involves interviews and checking resumes and whether they have the ability to be bonded and so forth. So it's going forward now. So full steam ahead for the fire station. Stone wall status, I was able to get a copy of the site drawings, the site engineering drawings, and I did a takeoff. There's about 1,920 linear feet of stone walls in existence now. It looks like the construction of the fire station would destroy anywhere from 400 to 500 linear feet. So it's about 25% of the stone walls would be affected by construction. But obviously 75% would remain intact, which are on the upper hillside beyond the tree line. And they pretty much follow the outline of the property as it goes up Ossabet Hill. And I don't believe the DPW wants to take, 500 linear feet of stone walls because they have no place to put them. So if you know any landscapers or developers who are looking for
That's
field
actually
stone?
better news than I thought. 25%, 75% remaining
Correct.
is better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, these are typical New England stone walls. They're piled, linear piles. They're not masonry walls. They're not laid up dry or anything. So there's just, they clear the fields of the rock so they can plant.
What would, if the DPW did not take them, what would happen to them? Would they be carted away?
Well, they'd be the responsibility of the site contractor.
Okay, because until we know what we could do with them, it would be good if they could just pile them up beyond the other stone walls, just so they're there.
Well, that would be uphill. And there's significant
Yeah.
grade
Oh,
north of the fire station, and then you're going to have a large retaining wall. So you
Yeah.
need to place them somewhere where you'd be able to get access to them.
okay. But ideally, if they could stay on property somewhere out of the way, but piled up. At least then we could figure out what to do with them later. As
I
opposed
don't
to,
believe there's space, Bob, to
Yeah.
pile that quantity of rock on site during construction.
okay, then they would be carted away.
All likelihood at this point. Next Wednesday, we have our next meeting and I'll raise the question with the committee and the design team.
Okay. And, at the, of course, at the last minute, let's check with, DPW again, just to make sure that they don't want it. We don't have to do it. We have to do it like when it's close to being needed.
Right. Well, nothing will happen until obviously next spring if everything goes according to plan.
So I mean,
Millie, do you
things can
think
change.
Your downtown development, Millie, can you think of any use you might have for them?
At this point, I wouldn't know any specific use for them. Because we really haven't seen the plans that would be coming forth. Although I wouldn't say no, they don't, what we saw last time wasn't really a stone wall. It was like a half wall with, the flat stones. She presented something that was going to go possibly in front of the, for West Main, some benches and things like that. So, but I don't think the stone wall would be the right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
would be what they're looking for. But you never know, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, stone walls typically would
Yeah,
be
just hate
more
to see
in a
them go.
rustic area, not a downtown area.
Yeah,
I can't help but think that the town common somehow on the perimeter or something that
yeah.
a lot of effort too.
You mentioned I think you mentioned the number of linear feet of the wall. Could you repeat
Curly
that?
is about 1,920 linear feet. And of course, that's in various states of structural integrity. Some are completely collapsed, others are still standing somewhat.
And how much of that would be removed?
400.
25%.
There's an issue about there's a section of stone wall between 65 and Hillside Grill. So there's a chance that this section of the grading will be modified to lower the grade because you don't want to have retaining walls on each side just holding up a little swath of ground in the middle. Didn't make sense. So we are in discussions with the Vyatzis family to modify that boundary. So we may lose some more stone wall in that front corner, that northwest corner of the site.
But the total amount of stone walls is about 1920 linear feet. Okay. Hey, good. Well, thank you. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, moving on to, I don't think there's any other committee representation. Nothing I missed. Okay, for new business, Apple Fest is September sometime.
September
last
21st,
year-
10 to 3.
September 10th?
21st, 10
Oh,
to 3.
21st. Okay, good. Last year we piggybacked with the Northborough Historical Society. We have no plans this year. I just was opening up for thoughts. We're obviously not gonna have a booth, but we could have volunteers from the commission go over there with brochures and maybe hold up our sign. I'd have to check with the Northborough Historical Society. They didn't object last year with our piggybacking. Do you think that's a good idea? Any thoughts?
Yeah, unfortunately, because I'm with Rotary and Rotary runs the street fair, I'm tied up all day long, so I
Right.
can't
I
contribute.
mean,
anyway.
I'd be free to spend some time there, but I didn't want to make it a big production, but I just thought that commission members could stop by and sit around the booth and maybe answer some questions for people that don't know the difference between the Historic District Commission and the Historical Society. It's always sometimes a good opportunity to meet some new people that come in and that might have questions about historic property renovations and things like that.
I think
So
if we can have representation there, I think it's great.
Yeah, we'll leave it informal, but I think our next meeting is the 18th. So at the next meeting, we can confirm who's going to attend. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. Next on the agenda is that there is the Massachusetts Historic Preservation Conference run by Conservation Massachusetts, I think. And I sent out the agenda to everyone to see if there's any interest. Now, Julianne Hirsch is going to be going, and she contacted me about that and thought it would be good to have a representative from the Historic District Commission, and I volunteered to go. So if there's anyone else interested in going, that's fine. Otherwise, I will do my best to report back. Yeah, it's the organization is Preservation Massachusetts, which we're a member of. So hearing no other offers, then I guess I will be going. This
Yeah, I
is
can't make it. Sorry.
September 27th. That's Applefest, isn't it?
No, the 21st is Applefest.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So I'm good for that. Okay, September 27th. So now I have a request to authorize funds for me to go to Preservation Massachusetts. So I'd like to vote on that. And what I like is the expense is $133.93. So could I have a motion to authorize the expenditure of $133.93 for the chair to attend the annual preservation conference by Preservation Massachusetts in Worcester?
So moved.
Second. Okay, Brian Smith.
Aye.
Brian Swanson.
Approved.
Leslie.
Aye.
Amanda.
Aye.
Tom.
Approve.
Millie.
Aye.
I think I should probably abstain. Okay, so that passes. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it's the historic Church Street property. Leslie and I had a meeting with Ashley Davis of the Open Space Committee about this.
Davies, Davies.
I'm sorry, what did I say? I said, oh, Davies, sorry.
Davies, yeah. Davies.
And she's basically been handling the discussions with the owners. And I haven't heard anything new on that. So I think it's being left up to them. Everyone understands the issues of trying to preserve the historic property if possible. But I have nothing new to report on that. Leslie, do you have anything new?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, so just keep that on the agenda and we'll try to update you next meeting. The next agenda item is just, you all know the Legacy Tree Program. The nomination was approved by the select board. I just need to write the nomination papers. I think they're accepting nomination papers anytime through the year, but they say they're probably not going to get to new nominations till the end of the year. So I need to do that as soon as this Revolution 250 grant process is done. I'll be able to start on that. The only physical thing I need to do is to measure the circumference of the tree. So I will do that and keep you posted. Next on the agenda item is just a heads up about an issue that we may be seeing involving 9 and 13 Church Street. Millie, congratulations. I saw the announcement.
Thank you,
Um,
I think.
I just want to point out that if there is a demolition request coming up, that once we get it, we're gonna have 30 days to have a public meeting. So that might be the next meeting in September or beyond that, but we just have to be prepared that according to the bylaws, we have to do something within 30 days. Give everyone a heads up. And looking at the bylaws, there really is the way they're written, and I'm not so sure I agree with how they're written, but they're bylaws. It doesn't really give us too much flexibility. Essentially, if a building is 100 years old or more, then the meeting, which will be open to public comment, will determine whether it's a historic building or not.
Could I just, since the building has been condemned, right?
Well, that's the other exception, which I was going to get to. But yes,
Okay.
you're right. If the building is condemned, then it doesn't go through that process.
And it's also not 100 years yet. Well, the 13 isn't.
Right, but 9 is.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's the issue. And again, you're right that if we were to meet on that and it was dealing only with 13, then it's not 100 years old.
Mhm.
But so I'm just trying to lay the groundwork for what might happen.
Sure.
And looking again, I was reviewing the bylaws, and it basically says this, that basically the commission will determine whether the structure is a significant building and will hold a public hearing for that purpose. If it is a significant building determined by the public hearing, then there's really no other, it looks like it's an automatic demolition delay of 6 months.
Mhm.
There's no way to say, well, it's a significant building, but there
Right.
are other reasons. Okay, but you're right though. In case of a condemned building, then you don't go through that process. Okay, so I just wanted to lay the groundwork for that because we have to be prepared for that. We do want to move quickly and make sure that we're in the 30-day requirement.
And Millie, what is the condemnation or whatever status of the buildings?
Of the fire station or the 13 church?
Either.
9 church.
Both, yeah, both.
Well, the fire station, part of the agreement for the purchase was that it had to be demolished.
Okay.
9 church is probably structurally sound. I don't know what the historical significance is for it, other than it's an old house.
Was it McAfee family too? Was that?
It was the
Ellsworth family.
Ellsworth,
the
okay.
Ellsworth family.
So does that make it historically significant? Because
That's going to be determined, I guess,
okay.
when we have the meeting. There is actually quite a large write-up by the Historical Society about that. It's on Facebook.
Mm,
So if you search for that, and it looks, they have an interesting history to that building. But again, that would be something that we would have to determine.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry, just a minute. So that one is over 100 years old. It's just the fire station.
That one is 100.
Oh,
over.
yeah. Oh, I didn't know that that's what you were asking. Yes.
Okay. So that one wouldn't need to go through the process. Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I have nothing new on the Trinity Church Historic District. What I do need to do is, I think Lorna is, on their board of directors. I need to talk to her because I think the next step might be just like we did, we'd have to have a position paper on setting up the historic district, and we're going to need some input from the church as to why it would be a good idea to have an historic district. So let me follow up with Lauren on that. I just haven't had a chance to do anything else on that. I don't know if anyone else has any other thoughts. I have the document for the Whitney Parsonage and the White Cliffs, those two reports that were done for setting up a historic district at those places. So we have an outline of how to do it. I think we just need some information from the church that they want to go ahead with it and that they can give us the details that are needed for that report. And then at that point, I think we'd have to set up a historic district committee to actually write the report. So it sounds like a lot of work, but it's coming up. Okay. Other issues for the commission. We did have an inquiry about a new recruit, a new person that might want to join Historic District Commission. And that person is reviewing the preservation plan and will get back to us on whether they want to go ahead to join. We have a full membership now with 7 voting members, and we have 2 alternates. But it's always good to have more alternates. Alternates can contribute, they just can't vote. And of course, you know, it's more important, I think, to contribute than to be a voting member. A lot of our votes are unanimous anyway. So, and I would throw this out that if anyone else knows of anyone interested in joining the commission, we should encourage that. This is interesting. I received an inquiry through the town mail from the town of Chelsea, who thought that we had an excellent preservation plan and wanted to discuss with us how we did it, because they don't have a preservation plan. I contacted Norm Corbin because he was obviously instrumental in our preservation plan, and I thought he would be good on it. So we had a Zoom call with a person from the town, and this person, Will Cio, he's the planner and land use administrator, but the way the town is organized, he actually has the Historic District Commission report to him. It's actually Historical Commission. They don't have any historic districts in Chelsea. They have several historic areas on the National Register, but they never set up a historic district locally. So we basically went through our plan and how to go about doing it. And he was very appreciative, but I thought it would be nice to know that Chelsea is looking at our plan and thinking it was excellent.
It's good for Norm to get that recognition too, as he works.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Norm was in on the call, and he gave them some backup information. We haven't heard back from them, but they know what to do. And that is everything on the agenda, except that something new came up. I don't know if you've noticed, but remember the conference room C that we would have meetings in sometimes?
Yeah.
The lunchroom?
The lunchroom is no longer.
Oh, no.
I went there and they basically put a new wall up. So it's maybe half the size or less than half the size that it was. I think they wanted to expand the finance people. I think they have a town accountant that's going to be moving into an office there. Anyway, I was there to look at our files, and our files are gone. So I contacted DPW person Sean in DPW, and the files were moved to 4 West Main Street.
It's
But
a new storage facility.
Uh-huh.
But I told him that it really would be good if we could get it back to town hall where we would have access to it. So I'm going to meet with him next week. And he said that they will move it back, probably in the same room, if there should be room there. So everything should be the same. They'll move it back as soon as the construction is done. So that's all I have. Is there any other issues before the commission?
I noticed that a historic home sold this month, so I don't know if we want to reach out to the new owners.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry, what property sold, Amanda?
206 South Street.
Oh, okay.
It's the big white house, like right at the kind of the bend there.
It's Alan Steeman's old house.
Oh my gosh, wow. That's a
Whose
pretty
old house? I'm sorry.
property.
S- Tom, who was that?
He was a landscape contractor. He was on design review for some years, Alan Steenman, but he
Oh.
passed away, I think, 4 or 5 years ago.
Been a while, yeah.
I assume that's 206 South is in Macris. I'll have to look that up. Okay, maybe we'll raise that next meeting. Amanda, do you have any other information about the buyer?
I don't. I can certainly get that for next meeting though. I think I
Okay,
can
great,
probably do
great,
the
great.
legwork to find that.
Yeah. Brian Swanson, we normally have some like a welcoming letter that you have.
We have in the past, it's been a while, but we have sent them before.
Okay. Well, we'll bring that up at the next meeting.
Okay.
Good. Any other business before the commission? Okay. The next meeting is scheduled to be September 18th, third Wednesday. Okay. And if it is going to be a public comment meeting, I just have to check. I assume we'll do it by Zoom, but we'll have to have it set up so that we can have other people call in, I think.
Yeah.
I'll check with Owen about that.
They can do that, yeah.
Yeah. The other option would be to have an in-person meeting. And then if you wanted to have public comment, you'd have to go to the meeting. So I think our preference would be a Zoom meeting. Correct? Okay. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, okay. Brian Smith,
Second.
Brian Swanson. Oh, okay, Brian Swanson,
Approved.
Leslie,
Approved.
Tom,
Proof?
Amanda,
Approved.
Millie,
Approved.
and I approve. Okay, everyone, have a happy rest of the summer.